Next, I will just show you guys. This one's going to be easier to show. But next, we'll go over the Vercel. So Vercel is actually pretty neat because what it does is that it hosts your entire application. So your code again goes to GitHub, and every time you deploy your code, it auto deploys on Vercel. But another cool thing about Vercel is that you can also build on Vercel. And you can use these templates and just plug in the explain endpoints. And this is how the front end for this looks. This is slightly fancier because there are a couple more components on this. So you have the chat that we just saw. You also have an ingredient list that I have here. So you can just select things that are interesting to you, and I'm just selecting things. Okay. And you can get recipe ideas. And another cool thing is that you can actually go to protein intake, put in your daily protein intake, put in your weight, and ask for your fitness goal, and have this run a query to kind of give you recipes that are more in line with what your goals are. So here is a recipe. You have this kind of does not do the whole wrapper thing. So you have your entire response here. But another thing you can do here is go into the logs and look at the
Asma,
logs. Yes.
slow down even more.
Okay.
Just
So
a
I
bit
don't
more.
sorry, I'm just like a fast talker. I'm gonna try my best. So you can actually go through logs over here. So what you can, it received our message, it checked if the API key exists or if it's true, it's ran into it, it submitted it to the endpoint. And when you submit a post request, you get back your data through a result URL. So you take this result URL and then poll for the get response. So you see the status being in progress, and it's going to be in progress for a little bit before it gives you the response till the response is completely generated. And that's what our response looks like. Pretty neat. And the best part about this is that it's already deployed. So you can actually just send this and you don't need to worry about hosting it after this. It's just that you have this endpoint or this domain available to you. Let's go through the explain
Quick
endpoint.
question.
Yeah.
The endpoint, after deploying that you get the endpoint, is that something that anybody with the link can use your application because it's already deployed on Vercel?
Yes.
Great.
Yeah, it's a very short response, but yeah, basically you take your endpoint and you can actually have people test it out, work with it, things like that. So here is the GitHub repository. Under in the API, I have my explain endpoint in this file.
Zoom
This
in.
might look slightly more overwhelming because zoom in. This might look a little overwhelming because it has a lot of components over here, but it's not, because all you actually need is there's a lot of error handling and rollbacks and things like that. But what all you need to know is that it does a post request, waits for the result URL, and tries to get the response back. So the get response. And if it does get, let me show you this again. If it does get a response, it's just going to store the response and send it back to the user, like over here. And that's all that you actually need to do. Let me show you how, like an easier version is that if I look at this fitness chef over here, I have the API integration. This is in JavaScript and that was in TypeScript, but essentially all you actually need to deploy your agent into like a front-end application is this much code. Everything else is just.
Could we not do it using Python? Because we are all like talking in Python. I'm curious, like why specifically JavaScript?
Like you could actually, because over here we did use in the CoPilotKit integration, I did use Python with Fast API. Over there was just everything was in TypeScript, so just stuck with it. But there are like options to obviously use this and then have Fast API and stuff. But I think over there it was just easier because the entire application is deployed and self-hosted, and then I'd have to like host Fast API separately and do all that stuff.
Okay, could you show the Python version of, yeah,
Yeah.
right on. Yeah, okay.
So over here,
Okay, it's
Python
pretty
is
simple.
even easier. Just headers, your data query, and then you post a request, and then you get with the request ID, and it's pretty simple. And all this is available for every single agent that you deploy. You have the curl as well if you want to like have your post and get through curl. That's also an option. And you obviously have tryout to try out your agent and the chat over here.
And so in the try it out is something similar to what you showed in the chat interface?
Yes, the try it out would be just like the CoPilotKit integration.
Okay. Okay.
And that's about it.